I'm Ernest Wick from the Tombstone Epitaph, and if you're just discovering the adventures of Young and Holt, but don't have the hankering to go back through all the issues thus far, then you've come to the right place. Please feel free to grab a glass of your favorite trail dust wash and get comfortable as I catch you up on the tale so far. And because I know we all have things to do, here is that tale in just about 10 minutes or so. Our pair met in the small town of Albert Lea, Minnesota. Porter Holt, a former train hopper and card player, leaving his old life behind, had high hopes of telling a new story. And Joshua Young, an aging gunslinger who had been hiding from his past inside a bottle, but was looking for glory's last blaze. It's tough to say what made this pair stick like honey candy, but like any good legend, we'll leave that for others to ponder and manufacture. The pair left Albert Lea, taking a train west to Worthington, Minnesota. On that train, they met Derek Ingersoll, a rather nervous man who soon surrendered himself to raiders who stopped the train looking for that man. Before leaving, however, Ingersoll gave Porter a package, money, and a note urging the pair to find the giants before they do. Who the they was unclear at that time. In Worthington, they met with Gregory Thomas, an associate of Ingersoll's, who, along with the native guide Runsit Deer, set the posse on their way to find these giants, which we learned were the honest-to-God remains of native tribes that roamed the Midwest ages ago. But the posse was not the only one after these remains. Turns out, an unnamed man with blonde hair in a dirty white coat was also on the trail. While on their journey, Young and Holt happened upon a homestead. A gruesome sight in the barn found 10 bodies arranged in a circle. Some turned out to be the family, but the rest of the bodies were a mystery. An additional mystery quickly appeared in that the bodies were arranged in such a fashion that there should have been 11. That 11th body was found in the farmhouse, and it turned out to be a wounded Ingersoll. Pleased to see the posse had taken up his mission, Ingersoll urged the posse onward, while he stayed by to watch over one family member that had survived. Young, Holt, and Runsit Deer arrived at the burial mounds, only to learn that the mysterious blonde coat, along with some hired guns, were already there. To complicate matters further, a number of individuals wearing red hoods were also present. It was a mess, to be sure, but in the end, Young and Holt drove off Blondecoat, sent one of his hired guns to Boot Hill, and made a deal with these red hoods to escape. Ever curious, however, the pair returned a spell later to learn that Blondecoat had made off with one of the mummified bodies, which were indeed giants. Once back with Ingersoll, Young and Holt agreed to continue the search for this Blondecoat, who they now learned was named Samuel Reddington. All signs pointed to the city of Deadwood as his most likely location. Once on their journey, Young and Holt stopped in the quiet town of Marshall, Minnesota. It was quiet because all the townsfolk were dead. Some were shot, others seemed to have died from losing their insides through their mouths, save for one, a frightened woman named Annabelle. She claimed that bandits had come into the town and killed everyone, but the pair was still a bit suspicious. The trio moved on the trail. Annabelle put Porter at ease, and he trusted her enough to take a meal from the woman. They soon arrived in the settlement of Locket Pearl. While there, Porter learned that one of his former train hoppers and a woman he was sweet on, known as Regina the Red, had been captured in Fargo and was set to be hung. This news, along with something else, started to make Porter feel ill, and Annabelle tried to comfort him with another meal. While Porter set about buying Annabelle a dress, Joshua let the townsfolk know about the situation in Marshall. That evening, the terrors of the night manifested in a violent way as the citizens of Marshall, the ones that were supposed to be dead, paid a visit to Locket Pearl. Annabelle came for Porter and revealed that she was far more than suspected, something much more sinister. This woman possessed dark powers and was in control of the dead Marshallites, and she sought to destroy the town and claim Porter as her prize. A concerted effort by the citizens of Locket Pearl, led by young Holt and a magic-slinging snake oil salesman named H.B. Gerard, turned the tide and drove Annabelle off, with Porter paying a traumatizing price. As the posse left the village, a grim sign left behind by Annabelle told Young and Holt she would see them again. While on the trail, Porter began to learn more about his powers and entertained the urge to acquire more. A stop in the logging camp of Ortonville proved fruitful for the pair. Joshua met with not only one, but two men from his past. Pete the Stump provided the posse with a list of gun hands in Fargo that would help with the rescue of Porter's paramour, Regina. The second acquaintance, Saul Dearborn, a man who left the lawless life to follow the Lord, agreed to aid the pair in their effort. That promise came sooner rather than later, as a strange creature set upon the camp. A beast from a twisted child's nursery rhyme, this five-legged man came looking for more flesh to fold into itself. The posse struggled against this creature, but in the end, Porter used some of his newfound power to deliver the killing blow. But they were too late for Pete, and the five-legged man had embraced the former gunslinger into its horrible body in a most gruesome fashion. To their credit, Young and Holt kept the carnage away from most of the folk in the camp, with a silver-tongued soliloquy by Joshua doing his best to hide the real truth, keeping the fear away from the town. Young, Holt, and Saul hit the trail to Fargo. Once there, they quickly learned that Regina and her gang had been acting as modern-day Robin Hoods, stealing from the Iron Dragon rail line to help those in need. The Iron Dragon and its agent in charge, a man known only as the Singer, wanted vengeance. The trio, along with that additional help, did indeed rescue Regina and most of her gang from the Hangman's Noose, in what could best be described as an action-packed battle that could rival that of any dime novel. In the end, Young, Holt, Regina, and Saul escaped Fargo, leaving a wounded and angry Singer behind. And now, well, now they are on their way to Deadwood, with Young and Holt looking to finish what they started with that accidental meeting on the train to Worthington not so long ago. And that, partners, is the tale so far. Of course, all that said, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one or two important notes. There's this woman, but she's a bit more than one woman. Joshua has referred to her as the Two-Faced Woman, and she haunts Joshua's past, but because of all of his time in the bottle, he's not sure why. And he's not sure why she's tied to a love from his past known as Abigail. For some time, this two-faced woman has been taunting Joshua from the edges of his mind, his dreams, and even the whiskey-induced haze he's been fighting desperately to leave behind. I think it's only a matter of time before this is resolved. And second, with his quest for more of this supernatural power, Porter has been brought into frequent interactions with strange, otherworldly beings, where he gambles to acquire this power. These beings may be growing tired of being cheated so often by this gambler. You may now consider yourself all caught up on the adventures of Young and Holt. Of course, a story this vast has many details that you might find interesting, and I'd encourage you to visit the past issues whilst you enjoy the new ones. I'm Ernest Wick for the Tombstone Epitaph, and remember, learning history is easy. Learning its lessons is almost impossible.